Question 3b. Figure 3.1 is an overhead view of two tractors pulling a tree trunk. The force exerted by each tractor is indicated in the diagram. In the space below, carefully draw a scale diagram to determine the resultant force on the tree trunk. State the scale you use. Write down the magnitude of the resultant force and the angle between the resultant force and one of the original forces. To draw a scale diagram, first determine the scale that you want to use. In this drawing, I will use the scale of 1 centimeter equals to 2000 Newton. You are allowed to choose another value, but please remember, your drawing must not be too small. And also, your drawing must fit in the space provided. First, I draw the 20,000 Newton force. It has to be drawn as 10 centimeter. Next, draw the 30,000 Newton force. Remember, the 30,000 Newton force forms an angle of 20 degrees to the 20,000 Newton force. Make sure you measure the angle using the protractor. The 30,000 Newton force is drawn as 15 centimeter. Now we have to make a parallelogram by using these two lines. So, I will have to draw one line parallel with the blue line. This dashed blue line parallel to the 20,000 Newton force, and it has the same length as the 20,000 Newton force. Then, draw one more line which is parallel to the 30,000 Newton force and also has the same length. After we get a complete parallelogram, join these two lines with a straight line. This red line represents the resultant force. The next step, measure the length of the red line. From the drawing, I get the length of the red line as 24.6 centimeter. Now 24.6 is not the magnitude of the resultant force. To get the magnitude of the resultant force, we have to multiply the 24.6 by 2000, which is equal to 49,200 Newton. We have to keep the answer in two significant figures. So we have to round this off into 4.9 times 10 to the power of 4 Newton. That's the answer for magnitude of resultant force. Now, for direction of resultant force, measure the angle between the red line to the blue line, which is 12 degrees, or the angle between the red line and the orange line, which is 8 degrees. You have to use protractor to measure these angles. Your answer can either be 12 degrees from 20 kilonewton force or 8 degrees from 30,000 Newton force or 30 kilonewton force. We will continue our discussion with question number 3. 3AI. State one similarity and one difference between vector and scalar quantities. The similarity for both quantities is both have magnitudes. The difference between vector and scalar quantities is vector has direction but scalar does not. Give an example of each quantity. The examples for vector quantity are velocity, or force, or acceleration, or momentum. You can choose one of them, or you can also use other examples which are not written in this example. The example for scalar quantity can be energy, or work, or power, or speed, or mass, or it can also be time, length, distance, and other quantities which are included in the scalar quantities but not included in the example written in this problem.